Johnson, and this is focused on Liberia. Hit it! From Cape Mount to Cape Palmer, mountain back to Atlantic Ocean, Obomi Hills to Pocondre, to educate, elevate, and promote. Talk about home affairs, in diaspora, current affairs, reliable information, history, talking about culture, politics, education, entertainment, business, sports, advertisement, articulation. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia. At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia. From education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Ja.
And I am Anthony Sied. A pleasant welcome to Focus on Liberia. Today we are having a special edition, and we also have a special guest, and we are here to talk about something so much nationalistic. It has a global flavor to it. It is intended to elevate Liberia's profile on the global stage. Our guest is within the office of the president. She advises the president on political matters, and this one is politics on the global scale. The nation Liberia wants to net a seat on the United Nations Security Council, a non-permanent seat, by the way. So our guest is Honorable Mandam Mandela Cooper, political advisor to President Joseph Yimambuaka, Republic of Liberia. Madam Cooper, good afternoon and welcome to Focus on Liberia. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me on here today, and I look forward to our fruitful conversation.
Well, we are always happy to have you. I think this might be my third time interviewing you, and it's a privilege.
Okay.
Thanks for your contribution to our nation. We know it is not easy. Hopes are high. People want quick results, but
Right.
that's the challenge you have to deal with. And thank you for doing that for our nation. Again, how's family?
The family are doing very well, Sonny. The family is doing very well. We're all here in Monrovia. It's the weekend. I literally just came from Virginia. The kids are here. We're all doing very well. You know, my family loves Liberia. My children love Liberia. So it's they look forward, even when they travel to other countries, they come back and Liberia is home for them. And that's, for me, that's beautiful, because that's how I grew up here. I want the same for them. So they're doing very good otherwise.
How does it feel? I know we'll get to the topic for today. How does it feel serving your country, advising our president, and having that opportunity to represent Liberia on the global stage?
It's a joy and a life privilege for me. I want to see a Liberia that works for the next generation. I'm in my middle age, and some of the heartaches, the hardship that we experience in this country, I want my life to be able to find solutions to reduce that for the next generation. And so to serve my country, hence the reason why I left Manhattan, New York. I came back to Liberia to serve, to give back to my country. I came back not looking for a political position. I came back serving as a humanitarian, serving young people, the children, the women, the elders, especially girls who are the future mothers of our country, who raised our children. For me, it was important for a woman to be educated, a young girl to be educated, so when she becomes a mother, if she chooses to, she can be able to educate the next generation in the right direction. Make sure she is training young people who are able to find solutions to our nation's problem. And so to serve Liberia right now is the greatest joy of my life. To help find solutions to our national problems, to serve as the advisor to His Excellency Joseph Yuma Borkai. I don't think a young woman can ask for anything better. So I'm privileged, and I consider this, a blessing in a way. I consider it a blessing.
All right. Thank you. And, for those of us, watching from the distance, as you people serve our country, your role specifically, give us a sense of what is a typical working day like as political advisor to the president. Walk us through. Let's get a little sense of what you do.
Well, every day is different depending on what happened in the country. As a political advisor, yes, we look at political trends. We analyze what's happening politically across the country. What are some of the things His Excellency needs to do? We do a lot of reports from all angles, what's happening. But overall, my colleagues who are the National Security Advisor, their work can shift your schedule for the day. So if there's anything that's a threat to national security or just a security concern, then the politicians move back a little bit, right? The economists move back. And so there are about 11 advisors. So my day would start with maybe going to His Excellency resident for a briefing, or it could be going to the mansion, or there could be a program that you have to escort the president, to or with, or go with him to a program. So every day is different, but the primary thing is if there are political, threats in the country, we have to bring that to his attention so that he can sit with other advisors and analyze and see what decisions he has to make. It's all about feeding His Excellency with information that is useful to him so that he can now make his own, decision as to how he deems it necessary. So if he be an advisor to His Excellency, at the end of the day, His Excellency has to talk to other advisors to then come up with one conclusion on what decision, if any, he's going to take.
Thank you. Well, let's get to our topic for today. Liberia's, United Nations Security Council fundraising campaign, meaning you're trying to raise funds. You are on a campaign to see that Liberia bid for a seat on the United Nations Security Council is possible. I know there is a fundraiser that has been organized and the president is going to attend. So this is what we really want to talk about, to see what you guys are trying to accomplish here and what does Liberia stand to benefit should we be successful as a nation in getting this seat. I know you put out a statement out there that I read, and I'm going to take a few things from there. One of the things you said there is Liberia stands a very strong chance of securing the seat. So you are assuring us, you seem to be speaking from the point of surety that this thing is done. Tell us, how can you be this sure? What work has been done, giving you this surety that we stand a better chance of getting a seat?
You know, whatever one is like, we can have it as anything we want, we can have it. As long as we're willing to work.
All right, folks, bear with us then.
And we're talking about just that, how Liberia has trailblazed through so many major, not necessarily crises, but so many major events globally. Liberia was a part of the countries that were giving a signature to the establishment of the United Nations. The very Security Council we're trying to have a seat on, Liberia was part of the formation of the UN. We look at countries like Israel. Liberia was part of granting its acknowledgement for the establishment of the state of Israel. Liberia has done so many significant things globally. Liberia, requesting for a seat on the United Nations Security Council, it's not a complicated thing, but if Liberians are willing to look past political agenda, look past the differences of tribalism, look past the cultural differences we have internally, and if Liberians are saying, we want to be a part of this, we want a seat on the Security Council, we can do it. I believe that Liberia can do so much. Together, we are a strong nation. But once we start bringing this green party, red party, blue party, all these different mix, that's when we limit ourselves as a nation. And so for me, Liberians pursue or quest to have this seat on the United Nations Security Council. It's easy. It's just up to us to say we want to do this.
All right. Now I understand. You are saying, hey, Liberia is uniquely situated. Suited to be on the United Nations Security Council, given a role it has played. All right, even the establishment of United Nations and all other bodies in the world. So Liberia should be uniquely qualified. Are there specific requirements, criteria that Liberians must meet that are set forth by the United Nations in order for one to be qualified for that? If you do know them, what are they? What do we have to meet in order to be qualified for that role?
We have to get 125 votes in order to win the seat. And what does that mean? Liberia has to go around, the foreign ministry is leading the spearheading this agenda, the campaign for Liberia's bid. The foreign ministry is going to different countries globally around the world, the region, within the West Africa region, within the continent. We're going to various countries on the continent to solicit their votes, to say, look, on voting day, can we count on your vote? And beyond Africa, Liberia is going to the Middle East, Liberia is going to the West, Liberia is going to the Far East. We're reaching out. We need 125 votes to win the seat. Sierra Leone won the seat 2 years ago. So Sierra Leone currently has a non-permanent member seat on the UN, the United Nations Security Council. Liberia, if we win, when we win, not if, when we win, Liberia will hold the seat. And so Liberia's foreign ministry has to go around the world, go to all these countries. And here's where the fundraiser comes in. We never budgeted for this. When we were establishing the budget that we're currently operating from, it was never a thought that, okay, let's have allocation to budget for this. So that's why we're raising the funds. And I know you're going to come to that question eventually, but Liberia needs 125 votes to win the seat.
Yes, we'll get to the fundraiser. I want the audience to know where you're coming from, why you feel the need that, we need to raise funds, and for them to understand the essence of what you are doing, why we need the seat, what we stand to benefit, and all that. Then we'll give them reason to say, oh, if that is the case, then I can contribute. That's what we're trying to do here. So you said the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is leading it, talking to nations in the world and asking them to be able to support Liberia, to vote for Liberia. And earlier in your statement, and you said, look, Liberia stands a strong chance. Are you looking at the count
Yeah.
It's the foreign affairs counting to say, hey, we have this amount of votes. Like keep pushing because you say, hey, we stand a strong chance. How is it looking so far? What is the progress?
My last conversation I had with the Foreign Affairs Ministry, they give me a good assurance that we are very close to the 125 votes, but we want a landslide victory. We don't just want, we're struggling for 125 vote. We get 125 vote, that we leave it there. We want to make sure if somebody change their mind tomorrow, we want to make sure we got multiple votes on top of that vote. So when they change their mind, my brother still get a win. So we are very close to the 125 votes, but the foreign ministry is not stopping there. The campaign ends on May 27th. We're going to do a closing ceremony. At the end of in politics, we'll say we're wrapping up the campaign or our final campaign rally. May 27th would be the closing of the campaign. The date of the election is June 3rd. So we only got the month of May to operate right now. And that's why I'm so grateful to you and the Focus on Liberia News Network for giving me this platform to come and speak to Liberians who are followers of this platform, because this is not a CDC thing. This is not a Unity Party thing. This is not a Mandela Cooper MOL thing. This is a Liberia thing. When Liberia win, we all win. We'll all be proud to say, yes, my country won a seat. And if this seat makes us very attractive across the world, because it puts us on a high level platform to be on the table when national, not just national, sorry, when regional, when global decisions are being made, we're going to have a seat to decide what happens in this country when there's war and when there's a need for peace. Liberia will be asked, what's your opinion, Liberia? What do we do with regards to peace and security in this region? And so this is a big deal, Anthony. It's a big deal for Liberia to have this seat. It's so important.
Thank you. And so in a statement you released, you said a successful bid will elevate our nation global profile. I know that's why you try to explain, but I need more of that. I want to know, because I don't think we need this seat just for us to put it in our record to say, oh, well, we're on the United Nations Security Council. We had a non-permanent seat. I don't think it is enough for someone to say, well, I'm the president of Liberia. I mean, sorry for using that example. I'm the president of Liberia, and you're just there and no accomplishment. You yourself would not be happy. So there is something I want to believe that must be achieved here other than just being on a permanent seat. So my question is just simple. What does Liberia stand to gain? What does Liberia stand to benefit? Should Liberia be successful in becoming a member of the United Nations Security Council? Folks, bear with us. There is connectivity issue at the end of the guest. Yes. So that is why I really want to know. Now there is this campaign that is going on. Liberia is talking to other nations in the world, asking them to be able to vote for Liberia, bid for a non-permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council. When Liberia gets this seat, because money is being invested in this campaign, right? The government is going to spend money. The government is sending the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is going out there, traveling to other nations, making phone calls, doing everything it needs to do for Liberia to secure this seat. So there is an investment being made here. What will be the return on our investment as a nation? And Mandela Cooper, the advisor to the president, the political advisor to the president, is here to explain to us that, look, they are launching this campaign. They have already launched this campaign, and they're also raising funds. They want Liberians to be able to contribute money to this effort. So we are trying to raise money and spend money to be able to get this seat. So what are we going to get in return? Should we get this seat? That is the question I want Mandela Cooper to address. But unfortunately, the internet connection just dropped at her end. I am hoping that she will be able to join us. She stay here, just that the connection is poor. And so, folks, bear with us. Don't go anywhere. This is an exclusive interview with the political advisor to President Joseph Yimambuaka, Madam Mandela Cooper. She is the political advisor to President Joseph Yimambuaka. And by the way, they are having a fundraiser. They want to raise funds in order to get the money they need to carry on the campaign. This is the flyer that has been, put out there to the public. This is the flyer. The President of the Republic of Liberia, His Excellency Joseph Yimambuaka Sr., cordially invites you to a special fundraising reception gather for the government of Liberia's United Nations Security Council bid. Venue, the Executive Mansion. Date, Saturday, May 3rd, 2025. Red carpet arrival, 5 p.m. Cocktail and fingers food, 6 p.m. Dress code, business suits, African attire. Join us for an evening of elegance and camaraderie, featuring a live band to enhance the festivity. So this is a big event, big fundraiser event that has been put together. I think I just noticed our guests are just coming. They are making adjustment, and I will bring our guest in momentarily to continue this very important discussion. All right, she's here. So, Madam Political Advisor, I understand there was connectivity issue. The question that was piling up for you.
Yes.
Why does our country stand to benefit for the investment it's making? You are trying to raise funds to put the funds in the campaign so that the campaign can be successful. I believe you mentioned that there was not a budget. The thing was not budgeted for, and you can correct me there. So You're trying to find other ways of raising money. More than likely, resources being spent already. What will be Liberia's return on this investment? What do we stand to benefit? Should we, be on this permanent seat? I mean, non-permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council.
Non-permanent seat, correct. Yeah. So this seat is very important for Liberia. Mm-hmm. Now, having this seat on the global decision-making table, puts Liberia on a very high pedestal. Mm-hmm. Liberia will gain a lot of respect from global peace, security, economy, economics, and just global decision making. Liberia will be in the room when those decisions are being made. Liberia will become rather attractive to other countries who thought Liberia was just this little small country and didn't quite care much for Liberia's position on international peace and security and those things. Liberia becomes a nation that other countries will come to find solutions. And so this brings a lot to the table for our beautiful country. And with that, negotiation, conversations are taking with a different light. And so this is something that we should not miss, this opportunity to have a seat on the table when international policies are being made, when global decisions are being made. And so these are just the iceberg of some of the great things that we will gain as a nation. Being put on a global pedestal is incredible, and we should not miss that opportunity, in my view. I mean, that's just one of the reasons why I got very excited when I was asked by His Excellency to be a part of the fundraising campaign that will support the campaign team that's soliciting votes. I thought I must be a part of this.
Thank you. And so one might want to know now, what does the United Nations Security Council do? What does that Security Council do for which Liberia must be on it, that Liberia will be part of?
Wait, there was a little glitch in the question. Can you ask the question again?
Sure. So Liberia wants to be a member of the United Nations Security Council. So I'm thinking, well, Liberia
That's
must
right.
then first know, what does their council do for it to be part of it? It's like I'm applying for a job and say, well, I need to do a research to see what the job entails. What would be the duties? What would I be doing should I get the job? So tell us, what does the United Nations Security Council do that Liberia wants to be part of?
Well, I mean, I think everyone at this point knows about the United Nations as a body. The highest peace, I mean, the United Nations is the biggest government in the world, first of all. It is the single largest government in the world. Hence the reason why United Nations can intrude in when it comes to peace and security, when it comes to war, when it comes to nations and human rights. The United Nations is the parent company of most countries in the world. If I'm not mistaken, I believe there's about just a little over 170 countries registered and recognized under the United Nations. And so at the end of each year, there's a General Assembly that takes place in New York at the United Nations headquarters. Every nation that's registered and that is recognized by the United Nations has to come to the General Assembly. It's almost having a joint session or a session, but it's a session with multi-governments that come and sit under one umbrella to understand what the agenda for the year ahead is going to be. And oftentimes they'll vote on agendas, and so the United Nations itself is just one global government. When you talk about one world order, you hear about this whole concept of, I'm not saying the United Nations is one world order, but that's the concept around the United Nations. And within the United Nations, you have the United Nations Security Council. Now, let me go back to our administration here in Liberia. I sort of coordinate in the administration the advisory council of the president. So I coordinate all of the advisors so that we can agree on an agenda and present it to His Excellency. It's all about getting a bunch of people together with different expertise that can make a decision to present it, right? So the United Nations Security Council does just that. The United Nations Security Council focuses on, when you talk about peace and security globally, and I keep using that phrase over and over, that's their main focus. But the permanent members are about 7 countries, and that's the permanent member seat. Then around the permanent members, there are non-permanent member seats. So you have the African countries, you have Asian countries, you have all of the countries who are not part of that 7 member states that makes up the permanent member seats. They can vie for seats on the non-permanent members, but they have limitations, but they still make decisions. They can vote. If the United States, who has a permanent member seat on the Security Council, if they need additional votes, they can capture votes from those on the non-permanent member seats. So that's one of the things that the Security Council focuses on: peace and security. How does it affect global economy? How does it affect several other items globally?
Thank you. So you mentioned that the United Nations is a global government. Can you explain to us what you mean by that? Because when you say government, for me, that's my first time hearing that. Because I always hear the United Nations is a global entity, it's the world body. But when you say government, explain to us what you mean by that.
Well, I don't think there's a better phrase to define the United Nations. It's one
Because all I
government
hear
trying to make
is,
sure.
excuse me for the interruption, we hear that the United Nations is a non-governmental entity, and now you are saying it's a big government. That's what I'm seeking clarity.
Well, a government is organized to have members that will focus on solving problems or finding solutions to certain crises or situations in the world. So when you look at the United Nations breakdown, right here in Liberia, the United Nations has several agencies here in Liberia that has been, once Liberia was researched and find out what their needs are, they send their agencies to complement government in those areas. So you have the UNCHR that focuses on refugees crisis, and see how Liberia can help solve, because Liberia is a member of the United Nations. Liberia can help solve global refugees crisis. You have the UN military, right? You have Liberia now is in Mali. Liberia was able to send soldiers and security to help in Mali and other countries in the region. Just as when we were going through our crisis, other governments send them. Bangladesh has sent a group of women when Madam Sirleaf was in power. You saw these Indian-looking women or these South Asian women, dark sort of complexion with very long hair. They came from Bangladesh. Bangladesh is a registered nation within the world's government called United Nations. And so Bangladesh had to pay it forward, because when Bangladesh has a crisis, other governments will send, support. And hence the reason why
Thank you. I get your point there. So now let's come to the fundraiser, Mandela Cooper. So a fundraiser has been organized, and earlier I was reading, the flyer that has been put out there. And here it is. The President of the Republic of Liberia, His Excellency Joseph Yamambuaka, cordially invites you to a special fundraising reception gather for the government of Liberia's United Nations Security Council bid, venue Executive Pavilion, Saturday, May 3rd, 2025. Red carpet arrival is 5 p.m., cocktail and finger, 6 p.m. And so there's an event. You are saying, look, we can't just be talking. All the work here require funds. And you are now calling on all Liberians, though in government, though in the private sector, those who are also abroad or in the diaspora, to support this effort. So tell us more about why is it important now to raise funds, and what specifically the funds will be used for.
Excellent. I will start with the latter part of the question. The funds will go directly to support the campaign activities. Liberia has to secure 125 votes in order to win the victory. And as I mentioned earlier, we are very close to the 125 votes, but we're going to solicit more votes in case something happens, another country or another nation changes their minds tomorrow. These things happen. We have to be mature about it. So we're not just going to secure 125 votes and say, oh, we have done our job. We want to secure more than 125 votes so we don't risk anything on voting day. So the funds raised is going to go directly to the campaign team at the Foreign Ministry to be able to fly the team out to go solicit more and additional votes. On the 27th of May, there will be a closing ceremony. It's part of the tradition that you have to have a final campaign rally, right, at the United Nations to invite all of the countries that you can invite to make that last push and say thank you for your votes. On the 2nd of June, the 3rd of June is the voting day. Remind them to keep going, to go out on June 3rd to vote for Liberia. So all of the funds raised from this is going to go directly to the Foreign Ministry of Liberia to support the team, which is led by the Foreign Minister and her team, to go around to get the votes. I'm going to be repetitive here, and also make sure the final campaign day, we send that loud and clear message out to all of those who have already agreed to support us, but to remind them that the vote, we're counting on their vote on June 3rd.
So my little knowledge of campaign of this nature is a nation seeking to get on the United Nations Security Council will talk to powerful people in the world, powerful people in its country, to put in words for them. Talk to us. Who have you talked to so far in Liberia, outside of Liberia, who are helping you with this push? Did you get my question?
With the votes or for the votes?
Yeah, for the vote. Who are the individuals that you've talked to help you? This is a campaign.
Yeah, I was asking you, to your question, are you asking who have we spoken to?
Yes, who are helping you with the campaign to push this?
That's right. This is a campaign, and only this is a G to G. I think we have a bit of an internet problem there.
Okay. Yeah. So let me restate my question. Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Anthony?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you very well.
Okay. Good. Let me restate the
Yes.
question, please. I'm saying, usually a nation seeking a seat on the United Nations Security Council will look within its own country, and the powerful people in that country, the star powers in that country, and even star powers that are friend to that country, the country will approach them to put in words from them. Who all Liberia has talked to speak on his behalf in this campaign. Is like the political campaign. You go to a political heavyweight to endorse you, and then your campaign gains traction, and because of their influence and following, then things sometimes, not always now, becomes positive for you. So who have you talked to so far who are helping in this process?
In the fundraising, if you're asking about fundraising, that's my responsibility. If you're asking about the campaign for the votes, that's not my responsibility. That's the foreign ministry. And so who they're talking to, I don't have a full list of who they're discussing with, but this is a G to G process. Okay. And what does it mean? It's government to government. The foreign ministry, which is the representation of the sitting government, can now penetrate other governments and say, look, we want to meet with your foreign minister or your leaders. So it's a G to G process. It's not an individual process. And if you're not a sitting, I could be misquoted here, but if you're not a sitting leader, I don't think you have much in terms of, yes. So for example, like former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, who's globally respected, can call up some of her colleagues and say, look, can you talk to your head of state? But if it's a past president, the past president still got to go to the sitting president. And so Madam Sirleaf she can help. But if she's calling a sitting president, then, of course, she can soften the ground there. Similar thing with former President George Weah. If former President George Weah has a good connection with any sitting president or former president, he can also put in a call and say, look, if it's a former president, can you speak to your sitting president that we are soliciting your vote? So it has to be a G to G, government to government. If you're not a sitting head of state, you can make impact, but you still got to go through the sitting government. Votes doesn't come from previous governments. It comes from sitting. So that's why it's a G to G process.
Thank you. Now, in your statement, you said, I'm organizing a fundraising reception in support of Liberia's campaign. When you say you are speaking as the political advisor to President Joseph Yamambwaka raising this fund, or Mandela Cooper, who is the humanitarian? Tell us.
Mandela Cooper wears many hats. And before I come to answer that question, I want to go back to my previous statement. Okay. I don't want to make it sound like we're downplaying the potential contribution previous heads of state can make. Okay. I was in New York during the UN General Assembly last September, and when Madame Sirleaf was there, and it was a beautiful moment in that room with Madame Sirleaf coming in. Yes, other heads of states were there, like my very good friend, Madame Sirleaf, the former head of state of the Republic of Liberia coming in to support His Excellency Joseph Yima Borka and the Foreign Ministry in pushing this agenda. It was a beautiful moment. And honestly, we wish we had, former President George Weah joining. Liberia is not simply divided by political alignments, but Liberia is one country first, one nation first before the political divisions. And so former presidents still have a lot to contribute. They are not the final decision maker, but they can support by, reaching out to other countries and saying, look, we're vying for this position and we need your support. And whoever, if you have connection with your city head of state, they can put in a word for Liberia, because that's what we need now. So I just want to make sure I make that clear, that I was not downplaying the contribution, the potential contribution that former heads of states can make. Former heads of states has a lot to bring to the table. And now going back to your question about whether I'm doing this as MacDella Cooper, the humanitarian, or MacDella Cooper, the chair on the council for the city of Monrovia, or the political advisor to the president, I'm doing this as a daughter of the soil of the Republic of Liberia with no title. I am doing this first, I want to repeat, as a daughter of the soil of this great nation called Liberia. I am such a proud citizen of this nation. Whether this is politically driven, this is not politically driven, I've first come to the table to give to this effort as MacDella Cooper without a title. And that's what I want everyone to do. Come to the table to support Liberia, not with a title or accolades, but just as a proud citizen of this great nation.
And in your statement, please contact me via text.
In your statement, please contact me via text.
I don't know where the feedback is coming from. It said, please contact me via text or WhatsApp at this number. Well, let me mute you so that we can get the feedback. All right, I did that. You are saying, please contact me via text or WhatsApp and you give out your phone number. So tell us, why should people contact you for? You put out a statement, you explain yourself, what you're doing. You also release the flyer that explain the process, all the activities that will happen at this reception gala. And now you're saying, yes, my phone number, you can contact me to secure yours. Explain to us why you think that is necessary.
It is very necessary for folks to contact me, because I know there are many, 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 many individuals out there who cannot necessarily attend the event. Although there are many who will be attending the event, they want to know everything from how much the tickets cost to attend the event, if this is the only event that will be happening, because folks cannot afford necessarily, some folks cannot afford the tickets to this event. This is a very high numbers. In terms of numbers, the tickets are very expensive. They're $500 a person to be in that room. There's no cheaper tickets for that night. The minimum ticket is $500 United States dollars. And there'll be subsequent fundraising activities taking place. The young people are plotting to do something else in a different locations because they cannot afford $500. And so folks have questions, and I want to be able to answer people's questions as they have them. So folks want to know how much they can pay for a whole table. Folks also has been calling since I put out that write-up. Folks want to know, how can they contribute even though they're not in the country? How can they transfer the money to the foreign ministry? How can they get money into the campaign? So give me my number. I'm one person that answers my phone all the time. So I give my personal number so people can call me and ask any questions they want to ask regarding the fundraiser.
Thank you.
Thank you. And
I'm glad you said that it's $500 per ticket, which is very expensive. Is that the only price for ticket, or you have different tiers categories of tickets? And then also at the end of the day, would there be a report that will be made public so that people know how much has been raised and how much, how that money has been used?
Absolutely. This is very important for me. I ran a foundation in the United States for several years. Transparency in contribution is very important. Now, with that transparency level, what I do after every fundraiser, I will write a letter, a thank you letter to each donor, declaring the amount, thank you for your contribution of XYZ amount that was given on this date. And that letter they can use for their tax write-off or whatever they need to use that letter for. It's very important. So after every fundraiser, every donor gets a letter acknowledging the amount they gave, and they get a gratitude for what they contributed. And secondly, there are individuals whose names will not be mentioned because they have purposefully asked that they want to remain anonymous, but they still get a thank you letter, and they keep those letters privately in their financial records. But there will be folks' names that will not be mentioned because they just don't want people coming to ask them, or people, thinking that they're doing whatever. I don't know what reasons there are, but they have asked to remain anonymous. And so those who give us their approval to make their name public, will make their name public and the amount they contributed. So, I've been in fundraising for over 25 years. And I think I understand the terrain when it comes to transparency in dealing with donors' funds. It's critical to be transparent.
Yes, you are right. That is extremely critical. That will give them reason to want to contribute again. And also the assurance that they contributed and they've been recognized, even though if it's not made public, but once they see the report, they say, oh, yes, there is transparency here. Madam Cooper, we want to say thank you so very much. And thanks for the campaign. Thanks for the fundraiser. We wish you and your team well with this effort. We hope that you're going to get all the money you need to have a successful campaign, and that Liberia will be able to get that non-permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council. As we always say to you, the politicians, now look in the camera and speak to your people. Your final words, madam.
Well, first, let me say, platform that's never failed to come through for your people or your country. I want to first extend this thank you to you. Thank you. And I do hope when we have won the seat, I will get an invitation back here to come and just share the victory with you on, how we got this seat. So to the Liberia, I really want to focus on this one point. I'm inviting every Liberian citizen to come and be a part of this. This is something that's going to make a huge difference for our country. This is, like I said, this is not a Unity Party thing. This is not a Liberty Party thing. This is not a MOL. This is not a CDC thing. This is a Liberia thing. Liberia needs to win this seat. I want people from CDC. I want former President Joe Weah to come and join us. I want Madam Sirleaf to come and join us. I want Alexander to support our country. We're one people. Yes, we might have political divides, but we're one people at the end of the day. It's just a matter of one person being in administration today, another person comes in another time, but there's still a Liberia agenda, and we want Liberia to win. When Liberia win, it's a win for CDC. It's a win for Unity Party. It's a win for Liberty Party. It's a win for Ellis Cummings Party. It's a win for Mandela Cooper Party. So I just encourage every citizen of this great republic, whether it is 100 LD, whether it is 500 LD, or 500 United States dollars, or 100,000 United States dollars, if you have it, come to the table and let's support Liberia to win this non-permanent member seat at the United Nations Security Council. God bless all of you. My numbers are open to all of you. Call me, give me your support. Come and join my team. Come and join my team. I'm looking for people to come and join my team. God bless all of you. Long live Liberia and long live our future of this great nation.
Thank you, as always, for honoring our invitation, even on a short notice. You are proving that you are a popular servant. Yes, indeed, we will be more than happy to reach out to you. Whichever way it ends, not only for victory, so whichever way it ends, we will still reach out to you to have a conversation. Thank you so very much and have a blessed day.
We all love you.